C99 tutorial part 8. So in the previous part we were looking at programs which count characters, count new lines, and show the value of different characters. And we're using while loops and a for loop with getchar and sometimes putchar. So in this tutorial, let's do a few more programs that are of this nature. For the first program, we're going to count the blanks, tabs, and new lines in the input. So this means we're counting white space. So let's look at it. Count WS. So this program is similar to the other programs. We have a while loop at the beginning. We're getting a character, and each time we check to see if it's EOF, and if it is, then we break the loop. So in the body, we're going to do our logic. The logic here says if this character is a blank or a space, then we'll increment NB. If it's a tab, increment NT. If it's NL, if it's a new line, increment NL. And finally, we print the result. Let's compile and see if it works. Run the command prompt, go to the desktop where the programs are stored, and we have the first program, count WS. So compile. Count WS, okay, and now we can give it some input. Let's give it one of our programs that we've already written. Count chars.c. Okay, we seem to have a mistake here. Blanks is probably uninitialized. In fact, all of them are uninitialized, so this is a mistake. So before you make some change to a variable like NB, NT, NL, it's important to initialize your variables. So here I've initialized them to 0. So let's try it again. I recompiled, now we can rerun this. And now we get a more reasonable answer. We get 49 blanks, 10 tabs, 20 new lines. If we try it from the keyboard, try it this way, space, 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 tab, enter, 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 enter. So I think that would be 6 new lines, 1 tab, and 3 blanks. Yeah, 3 blanks, 1 tab, 6 new lines, is that right? 1, 2, 3. 1 tab, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it seems to give the right answer. So that's counting white space. So notice something about this program. When we count the white space, we're going to look to see what kind of white space it is. So we have 3 if statements here. If C is a new line, if C is blank, if C is a tab, and if C is a new line. In this instance, it works fine the way it is, but in many circumstances like these, we want to guarantee. This is called a multi-way decision. So we have 3 possibilities. We either want to increment NB, increment NT, or increment NL. And we don't want to do any of these. We can only do one. So the way we should modify this is as follows, by using the else keyword. So if C is a blank, increment NB, else, which means otherwise, else if C is a tab, increment NT, else if C is a new line, increment NL. So with this style, we've stated that we only want one of these to execute. Alright, so going on to the next program, trim spaces.c. So in this program we would like to read the input, but if there is a sequence of 2 or more spaces, I want to replace it with just 1 space. So here's the program. First let's compile and run the program. Trim spaces. And an example might be hello, and then many spaces world. And so it's replaced with just 1 space. So how does it work? Trim spaces. In trim spaces I use 2 integers, c and cprev for previous. And at the beginning we define cprev to have the value EOF. This is just an initial value to make sure that it has a value. And each time we're going to use the same line as before. C equals getchar and then not equal EOF. And now what should we do in this circumstance? If the previous character is a blank and the current character C is a blank, then I want to do nothing. Otherwise, put the character. So this tells you exactly one of these decisions will be, or one of these actions will be done. Either we do nothing because they're both blanks, or we print the character because they're not both blanks. Finally, we need to update our variable cprev. Inside the loop, the value c refers to the current character, and when we get to the end, we should update it to cprev. We should update cprev to the value c. Now it turns out this is actually a candidate for a for loop because we have 3 parts. We have the beginning initialization, and then a condition, and then some kind of update. So let's rewrite this as a for loop. For, in the first part, cprev equals EOF. C equals getchar not equal to EOF. Finally, cprev equals C. At the end, cprev equals C. And so that's our for loop. cprev equals EOF is the initializer. C equals getchar not equal to EOF. cprev equals C. So once again, let's compile and run to make sure it works. Trim spaces. Hello world. Hello world. Hello world. So seems to work.